Hello everyone and welcome back to the TWNR. I'm here with my co-host Killakanz.
Hey everybody.
We're going to do some more operating sessions. We're on a little narrow gauge railroad.
Indeed, we got Betsy here with a bunch of tier 2 flat wagons, with which we are going to be presumably taking beams and lumber.
We are indeed. Killakanz will be doing the conducting duties this evening, which of course means he is actually in control of the train. I only drive the loco. Anything I do is at his command.
Alright, just make sure again that all the handbrakes are off.
And meanwhile, I'm going to stoke up the fire. Get us a little fire temperature going. And some water temp. Just try and ignore that flickering of the ground there. We shall be going through, possibly after this video, but during Killakanz live stream, and fixing little glitches like that.
Indeed, we've got plenty of evening on the live stream left to go, so once we've finished recording for the YouTube video, we shall be carrying on my channel.
Yep.
So all the handbrakes are now off, so when Betsy is ready, we can set off.
Give it a little power and we're away. Incidentally, while we take this run down, we'll mention Killakanz, of course, does have a YouTube channel where the VOD for this can be found. It's worthwhile taking a look, even if you watch this video, because of course you get to see it from the other perspective.
The other perspective being about one wagon behind you at the moment, so...
Ah, yes.
Yes, this new track layout is very new since last week. Nick has been very, very busy building up the freight depot area.
I got a little bit carried away, but you can see remnants of the old layout still in existence. May leave that in just as a reminder of where we came from. I haven't decided yet.
It was like having little reminders of the first bit of track you laid down, you know.
You know, about 25 cent power now. I think anything more than that, and Betsy just hasn't got the speed anyway, so you're kind of just burning extra fuel for nothing after that.
Yep, it's all about fuel efficiency. Although I shouldn't be using much fuel anyway because the wagons are empty at the moment.
I've actually found, through doing this run a few times off screen, that 3 logs in the fire is usually sufficient to get you up to the other end, and then 3 for coming back.
So has the track layout changed much ahead? Are we very different at the sawmill from last time? Or is it roughly the same?
No, sawmill hasn't changed. As you can see coming ahead, there is groundworks to straighten this loop out, but other than that, route here is as it was before. However, we may get an opportunity to take the left track, which that has changed significantly.
So the left-hand track is going straight on up to the logging camp, where presumably we would be able to use Tier 3 flat wagons to bring back cordwood.
Yep, so I think what we'll do on this run is return with our full wagons, and then, yeah, we'll take those Tier 3s for a run.
Okay, those points look like they're set towards the pickup bay, so...
Let me ease off the power now. Give a little bell action when there are other people eventually on this server. Which actually, we may be recruiting sooner rather than later. One thing I haven't mentioned to Killakanz yet, but we have got the money for a second loco now.
Ooh. Go shopping later.
Indeed.
Okay, so are we going to take a mixed load, or are we going to even things out a little bit? Let's see, we've got 69 lumber.
Good. And 72 beams.
And 72 beams, yeah. I think we should take a mixed load.
Yep. You want to?
Usually, usually it's 3 on a wagon for beams and 6 on a wagon for lumber. So we might be able to even this out a bit.
Yeah. Do you want to load from the rear first or from the front?
We presumably load from the front, I guess. If we time it just right, we could load both sides actually at the same time. So if we pull back, so we've got the first wagon in line with this crane.
Okay.
About half a car. Quarter of a car. About there should do the trick.
I had a very large tree in my way, so I was totally reliant on your command then.
Okay. Let's see, I can also load a couple of wagons back here as well.
Put my head, so it doesn't get taken off.
Okay, and that should be 3 each for the front 2 wagons, but these ones will still need some more back here.
Yep, just stand by when you need me to move up. It's rather bizarre that they're unevenly loaded now, because when I loaded up the previous train it was a 6:3 ratio and the beams and lumber were identical before I started loading. I'm not sure what happened there.
It's something that we can always even out. I believe that's 6 per wagon here and here, so let's see, we want to do this one as beams. I see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's move this one forward so we can load it up with beams.
Okay, moving forward.
So 1 wagon length forward, please. And half a length. And a quarter. And that should do.
Should have enough boiler pressure to do these shunting moves without adding to the fire. The thing to bear in mind, of course, is as we add fuel to the fire, it's going to raise the fire temperature, and it's also going to take our water level down. So it's getting that balance between having enough boiler pressure to run and being efficient with our water and fuel.
Right, unfortunately we're not quite perfectly aligned with our train at the cranes at the back here, so we're going to need to move forward half the car length to get this one loaded up with lumber. Okay. And then the last 3 wagons at the back here will need to take beams, and that should be our 3-to-1 ratio. So that should do.
Brakes on. And for those watching video from my perspective, you'll notice there is a bit of track work just ahead of the loco. I've been using that for solo loading, just as a visual aid. But of course you can't actually see the rear of the train lining up. And you'll notice a similar one just there, about 2 car lengths further ahead. Killakanz busily loading at the rear there.
Alright, 2 more lumber to load up on this wagon, and then we'll move the whole train forwards. And then it will just be beams. There you go. Okay, so we now have 51 lumber left. Doesn't look like there's any more logs in the pond. And we've still got 63 beams, so we're about to take another 9 off of those. Okay, if you would kindly move forward about 3 wagon lengths.
Okay.
And 2 lengths. And 1 length. Oh, in fact, make it another length as well. We'll load up 2 wagons at a time then. And half a length. Quarter. And stop. Well, that might have overrun slightly.
And I'll just ease off the brake. That should roll back a little bit. Oh, no, if I do that, I'm definitely going to have to reverse now.
He gently does it. Quarter length. And bring it to a stop there. There we go. That's better. So the
big question is, would you like to have the train run round, or are we going to use the full loop and exit the other end?
Ooh, do we have options?
We have options.
Well, maybe we could use the loop, and as we're passing it, we might want to unload those log wagons that are still carrying logs, now that the pond is empty. I want to unload that on the way past.
Yep, well, I'll have to stop the train for some point switching at the other end anyway, so yeah, we can stop and get those unloaded.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we've got 1 more wagon to load, so forward 1 wagon length, please.
One back a length.
And a half. And a quarter. And stop there.
Full stop. This is where we will have to refuel the fire. We will take an extra one just for luck, as we will have to stop on the far side of the loop.
And we are now fully loaded.
Okay. Releasing brakes, moving away. Actually maintained quite good boiler pressure on there. We dropped to 104 now.
Ah.
It's still creeping down a bit whilst we get the fire up to temp. There's still some groundwork that needs fixing in these areas. But at the time I wasn't sure if the track layout was going to remain, so wasn't a priority in the past.
It shouldn't be too bad of a problem though. It's usually I usually leave the groundwork tidying up until after I'm absolutely happy with the track and decided it's final. Otherwise you keep on digging it up and putting it down again. And
Yeah.
okay, so it looks like this point, the first one's okay, but the second one is against you. So if we stop here anyway, because we were going to unload the log wagons.
Yep. Go for a
Let's get this
little
point
run.
seen too. There we go.
Play dodge the logs.
Yeah. And we saw a bit of this last week as well. At the moment, the pond is absolutely empty. There's nothing in there. But as the logs roll in, we can see them appearing over there.
Ooh, lovely monies.
There we go. And now that the logs are in the pond, the sawmill should be producing some more as we've just taken a load, so it has space to store some product. As you can see, the log count there is now going down. So sawmill is currently producing. Meanwhile, let's take our full load back to the freight depot. So points ahead are all clear.
All clear. Moving out.
Betsy's a little slower to get started now that she's got a full load on the back, but 9 full wagons of logs and beams is quite a lot of weight. But Betsy seems to be a capable little engine, so
For now, at least. There is more than a few mentions of her being nerfed in the near future. We'll have to see what happens after that.
Yes, unfortunately, Betsy is a little overpowered at the moment, but it'll be a bit of a shame, really, when they finally nerf her. But it's understandable if they want to make the bigger and more powerful locos seem a bit more worthwhile in getting.
Yeah, I think the hard thing is going to be getting the balance right between it being a useful first loco for everyone and it not being so overpowered that kind of pointless buying some of the others.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, we are carrying 9 wagons at the moment. I think that's probably a little bit too much than was intended for Betsy. But we'll see what the devs do.
Unfortunately on my screen we've got the annoying flickering of the bell going on. Hopefully that's something they can fix at a later date. Seems to be just dependent on where you're looking at the time of jumping on the loco.
If I can position myself just about here and pull on this bit of string, I can ring your bell for you. And that's one of the cool things I really like about this game. The controls can be used in first person as well as in driver mode. So even though Nick is currently in driver mode, I can still do things like sound his whistle and pull his bell.
Indeed. If there is enough room, you can even load the fire for me.
I could indeed. In fact, do you need some logs in there at the moment? Well, probably not, as we're about to arrive at the station anyway. So
I seem to have timed it just nicely. 2 fuel now, 1.9. Yeah. Just about right on the fuel for that run. Give a bit of bell ringing as we approach the yard. One advantage we have of being a 2-man crew is A, we can unload twice as fast, and B, I haven't got to try and fight it all myself.
indeed, I can tell you when the rear wagon has entered the platform from back here. And if I joined your company by using the tab menu, then theoretically when I unload it, the money for the delivery should go to you, which you'll then be able to spend on a nice new locomotive. So let's unload some wagons then.
And if you're looking on my screen, you can indeed see the funds going up. Now, I will mention on this bit of track work, it isn't perfectly straight. And that wasn't really by design, but I've laid that about 6 times now. When I originally laid this track, it was too close and the loads as I tried to unload were catching on the roof and just bouncing back into the wagons. So I moved it out a bit, tried again, moved it out a bit, and yes, late last night I finally got some track in that worked, and so yes, we've left it there for now. May not be straight, but it's functional.
There's a lot of trial and error in laying the track work. In fact, that reminds me of a certain other game. Although, admittedly, when I played that one, it was more error than trial for me, but each player is different, I guess. Okay, 1 wagon length,
1 wagon.
1/2, 1/4, and you're there.
There.
And that is train unloaded.
Okay.
Okay, shall we run around the locomotive?
Yep. Got some brakes on now.
Want to put handbrakes on the rear wagon, I guess. It's a habit that I've really been trying to get myself into a lot. Every time I leave wagons behind, got to put the handbrake on just to make sure they don't roll away.
Yeah. I did read on the Discord of one person who wondered why, after setting just one handbrake, his train of 20 wagons next time he loaded in had all run away.
Oh dear, just the one handbrake.
Yep. He didn't say whether it's on the front or rear either, but regardless, one handbrake for 20 wagons is not sufficient.
No. One handbrake is probably sufficient for about 5, I think, if they're empty and on fairly level track. But for anything more than 5, I will. I get myself into the habit of putting the handbrakes on the front and rear wagons. Above 10, I'll probably stick one in the middle as well.
Yeah, I've been even stricter than that. I've been going on a ratio of 1 handbrake to 3 wagons. Just to be on the safe side. So, as you can see now, we're using the in-cab controls rather than the F menu. And annoyingly, you can't see out of the loco very well. Unless you kind of do a fake looking out the window effect.
It is better on some of the larger locos. Admittedly, Betsy is a little on the small side. Okay, I have set the point at the other end, so should be able to go all the way back.
Reverse it. That's it.
Hitch a ride on the back. What are you doing first person?
Indeed. And if you are watching Killakanz's screen, he'll be able to show you now that whilst I am using the controls for the train, he can load the fire simultaneously without it affecting each other. And there you go, on my screen you see the fire roar out. That's a bright glow.
I can't quite get to the fire door anymore. You're standing in front of it.
Let's just take a step back.
There we go. That's got it.
Let's give it a bit more power now. And shake, rattle and roll down this straight track. Ooh. Maybe ease off a little bit. There is maybe a slight incline here. Give it a little more power. And we seem to have lost our conductor.
Ooh. Well, I thought we were going back onto the train. Are we buying more wagons?
Not just yet. We were going to take a run with the cordwood, weren't we?
Oh, of course, yes. And the cordwood are on the other platform, aren't they? So
Indeed.
this point here is the one we need to change.
Got a bit of braking action.
Okay, and then I believe that one as well. That's already in the right direction. Okay, you should be clear into the shorter platform.
Clear, moving forward.
Just going to hitch a ride on the front of the loco.
Just warm your ankles for you.
Very nice.
We are really rock and rolling on my screen. Promise the track is straight.
Okay, so we're coming up to the wagons now. Let's just check couplings. Oh. Okay, can you back up a little bit just so I can get the coupling sorted out?
Oh. Right. All that. That's it. Is that enough or need a little more?
That's fine. Okay, there we go. So I've got the Lincoln pin on the front of Betsy. There definitely isn't any on the wagon, so if you can pull forward again, and then we can connect up the wagons. And the wagons are connected.
Excellent.
That handbrake is now off. And so is that one. Okay, all our handbrakes are off, and I believe we are all connected. So we have now just connected to 3 Tier 3 flat wagons. And these are for carrying cordwood. And later in the game, I believe they also carry oil barrels.
Yep. We're probably a couple of months away from that at our current rate.
True, probably a little way away before we get there, but for now, though, we can haul cordwood with this. We'll just take these up to the logging camp and we can go from there. That will require us to switch over onto the left-hand lane on the main line, just coming out of the fuel depot. So, freight depot.
Yep, I'll just get us around the corner and then I'll apply the brakes.
Shall need to use that crossover over there.
Yep. I really have to give a shout out to your lordship on Discord for showing me how to make such a nice looking crossover. Certainly not something I could have worked out on my own.
There you go, point switched, and you are clear.
And switch. Coming through. Should be able to get a good amount of speed up with only 3 wagons.
We should indeed. And while yes, it does look a little bit silly with me just riding along on the wagons, unfortunately we don't really have a lot else that I can ride on at the moment. There is a caboose on the way that the devs have been showing off in the Discord, and I'm quite looking forward to that. So, you know, we could have a caboose on the back and then conductor can ride in that instead.
Yeah, have we got an ETA on that yet, or still unconfirmed?
Still unconfirmed, but the model itself looks to be complete. Last time they were showing it off, so...
So it's all the fun of unwrapping, texturing, testing,
yeah.
And...
I believe they are indeed working on the texture, and then it'll be the coding stage, but hopefully it shouldn't take too long.
Anyone knows how long it takes to get some rolling stock into a game, it will of course be yourself.
Yes, all that experience of modding Transport Fever. And all those years, because, well, my modding career started out, must have been 2015-ish, I think, when I actually started out with Train Fever.
So yes, certainly going back time. Okay. If we look to our left, we can see the remains of the old route. All that's left now is a small section of foundation and a bridge.
I see we've double tracked with the line coming out of the other end of the sawmill.
Indeed, yes, that carries on out.
In fact, the line next to us, that was the line we used last week to bring logs down to the sawmill, wasn't it? So, but now we're on a new line.
There has been a small change when we actually get to the logging camp. Nothing major, just little changes here and there.
There's a new bridge here.
Oh yeah, so couldn't resist the urge to build a double track bridge. Unfortunately we can't have it as a full double track bridge, but it's as close as we can get for now.
Right, let's see, we've got some points here, so we are heading around to the Cordwood side, don't we? So these both want to be set to the left, which they are. And the point that I was running forward for no longer exists, because that was the one off the old line, which is gone now, I believe.
Yep, just some old groundworks, that's all that remains.
Okay, so you are clear to come into the Cordwood side. We also have fuel and a water tower here if Betsy needs a top up.
We're actually okay on water at the moment, but it won't hurt to pop up on the firewood whilst we're here. Unfortunately, we don't have a runaround on this side yet, so we are going to have to propel our train forwards.
It is something we're going to need to work on doing, is getting a runaround loop here, because it is not really ideal to push full freight wagons. But for the time being we should be okay, as we only have 3 wagons. But as the trains get longer, we certainly will need to have a way of getting the locos around to the other end of the train.
more, I believe.
Out there should do.
Okay.
Due to the spacing between the cranes, they're going to load the first and last wagon. We will have to load the middle wagon separately.
Once that's been loaded up, we will go and grab ourselves some firewood. And luckily we don't have to run as far this time as we did last week.
This will take a little bit longer to load up these wagons than previous ones. The most that the Tier 1 log wagons took was 6 logs, and the Tier 2s that we hauled earlier on tonight, they were 6 lumbers. However, these wagons are taking 8 cordwoods.
Take 5 just for fun. Our cabin is now full, and once we've finished loading, we'll put 5 into the firebox.
Just need 1 more bundle on each, and then we'll need to start loading the middle wagon. And that is the front and rear wagon filled up, so up to you. Forward or backwards, 1 car length, please.
Okay, 1 car length.
Half a car. 1/4. And that should do.
Okay, brakes are on. Get a nice vantage point. The Killakanz at work.
I wish I could say that this was all manual labour to load up these wagons, but in all fairness, the crane is doing most of the heavy lifting for me. So,
And as I look behind us, anyone who caught the original live stream will remember those logs. That's a place that Killakanz got rather stuck.
yes, that happened during the live stream, I believe. Got trapped in between the logs and had to respawn, which sent me all the way back to the freight depot. The downside of doing that is the one and only train we had was up here already, so I kind of had to walk back. One last bundle. Here we go. And we are filled.
Excellent. Right, for the YouTube viewers, we are going to cut it here. Of course, for the live stream viewers over on Twitch, we are going to continue for a bit longer. So, any final words from my co-host here?
Well, as you've already said it, we are going to continue on the live stream for a little longer, and then we shall be continuing this again next week.
Indeed. For those watching the video on Friday evening, goodbye for now.
Cheerio.